Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Miguel back again with another video, and today we have the Huawei Nova 11 Pro in hand, which we're going to be doing and reviewing and kind of giving out a conclusion whether this is a phone that you should consider buying. And we're going to kind of compare this with other competitors on the same price range and see whether this is a worthy opponent. Now, this is the successor to the Nova 10 Pro lineup, and the Nova series is kind of like, it's not really necessarily a flagship device, but it is a fancy mid-ranger, if you want to call it that. If we compare it, this compares with Honor's Magic series, a few phones of the Honor Magic series in terms of specs. In terms of price, this actually is a little bit weird. Let's go ahead and do the unboxing real quick and see what we have. So we have the 256 gigs of internal storage here. This also does come with a 512 gig option. It only comes with 8 gigs of storage, so we don't have the option of 12 here. And the color that we have is black color, although this does come in a fancy or a very exotic green type of color. Opening up the box, we have the device right up front, which we'll review in a little bit. Underneath it, we have the SIM ejector pin here, and we also have a silicone case. No booklet because this is a review unit. We have the USB-A to USB-C cable, and the probably one of the best features, the 100-watt chargers. Yes, this comes with a 100-watt charger. The phone does support 100 watts, and this will charge your phone from 0 to 50% in 15 minutes, so 100% in 30 minutes. And I just tested it out. This phone just died out on me, and I had it on. I put on the charger, and in less than 30 minutes, it was at 100%. Now, looking at the actual phone itself, let's go ahead and unwrap this. So immediately you can tell by the signature camera array that this is a Huawei phone, and this comes in the black vegan leather type finish over here. It's a little bit textured, so you see the Nova branding, and you also see the Nova branding over here, which is in a kind of like a rose gold type color. The phone overall is a pretty decent phone to look at least. It's pretty thin, it's pretty lightweight. We have the power button here, the volume rockers here on the side. Nothing over here. We do have a stereo speaker, the USB-C port. We have the SIM tray over here, which does support dual SIM. Now, this phone, as I said, is not really a flagship phone. It's kind of like a fancy mid-ranger, but this does have, I would say, 1 or 2 features which can be considered flagship. Now, starting off with the display, this has a 6.78-inch OLED display, which does support 120 Hz of refresh rate. It does go down to 60 if you want to put it in dynamic mode, which will take it down to 60 or 120 just for battery saving purposes. When it comes to the resolution, this has 2652 by 1200 pixels, and then Huawei uses a specific type of glass. So normally you hear about Gorilla Glass. This uses Kunlun glass, which is kind of, you can say, an alternative to Gorilla Glass. So it's supposed to, again, protect from falls and breaking easily. Next up, we're going to look at the cameras real quick. So the camera, again, is something that's one of the standout features of this phone, especially when we come to the front camera. So the main camera on the back is a 50 megapixel camera. We also have an 8 megapixel camera. On the front, we have a 60 megapixel camera. So the front camera is actually a much better camera than the back camera. And surprisingly, the video resolution on the front also supports 4K. So apart from the back camera supporting 4K resolution when it comes to video, the front camera also supports 4K resolution for video. If we talk about the battery, this has a standard 4500 milliampere battery, a little bit less than 5000, which is what we see normally nowadays on a lot of different phones. It will last you around a day and a half, so around 30 hours. I think it's what it will normally last you. And as I did mention, this does come with a 100-watt charger, and it does support 100 watts of fast charging, provided that you use this charger. And as I did go ahead and use this right now, and it did charge the phone from 0 to 100% in nearly 30 minutes, or maybe less than 30 minutes. If we talk about the performance, this has a Snapdragons 778G chip, which is not a flagship chip, but it does the job. And we ran some Antutu benchmark numbers, and this gave us around 570,430 points, which is, I wouldn't say is bad, but it's exactly what you would expect from a mid-range phone. The only drawback that I see with this phone is that it doesn't support 5G. So this chip is only supported for 4G, and that is because of the restrictions that Huawei has where Snapdragon is not really allowed to sell Huawei 5G chips. That's one of the things that Huawei is actually struggling with. Apart from not having Google services as well, and or Android, that's one of the biggest drawbacks that I see with the Huawei phone. And then if you come down to the actual price is where it gets interesting. So this phone costs 2,400 dirhams, which is around the $400 mark. And that's a little bit high, I would say, considering that you cannot, you don't have 5G and you don't have Google services, or you don't have running Android. So this does work on Huawei's Harmony OS 3, which is the latest. But again, it's pretty. It looks outdated to me. That's one of the problems that I have with Huawei, and not only Huawei, but I was vocal about Honor as well, not upgrading their UI or not being as as updated. So if we look at other phones that kind of fall in the similar price range, the Honor Magic 4 Pro, which it's a last year's flagship from Honor, which has Snapdragon's 8 Gen 1 chip, so it is a flagship chip. Even though it's last year's, that right now at the moment costs 2,999 dirhams, which is just 600 dirhams more than the Huawei. So I rather spend the extra 600 dirhams and actually go for a phone that has Android and has Snapdragon and also has Google services available with it, and also is actually a flagship phone. So the cameras on the Honor Magic 4 Pro are considered flagship level. The display is considered flagship level. The performance is considered flagship level. We're talking about not having 5G. You really wouldn't buy a mid-range phone because you wanted to use it on 5G. Obviously, it is a good option to have. Price does kind of bother me a little bit. I think it is a little bit on the higher side considering what we are getting for a phone. Design-wise, I said it's a pretty good phone. When it comes to the cameras, it's a pretty decent device. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all that this phone actually has to offer. So that's my conclusion of the Huawei Nova 11 Pro. Let me know what you guys think. One more question that I wanted to ask you. Do you guys think that this is the exact same phone as the Nova 10 Pro? Because I was seeing a lot of comments, a lot of people saying that this is pretty much the exact same phone as the Nova 10 Pro, and people couldn't really see the big change on this one. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are on this phone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.